Welcome to Liberty Entrepreneurs Podcast, where we explore how to build freedom through the entrepreneurial process. Our goal is to provide you with the tools and mindset needed to create your lifestyle of independence and flexibility. I'm your host, Justin Blinko, and this is Episode 3, Unmanned Aerial Vehicles and the Future of Media, with our guest, Gabe Rovick, founder of Focus for Design. Please follow us on Twitter at Liberty E Podcast, or like us on Facebook at Facebook/Liberty Entrepreneurs. Show notes are found on our website, libertyentrepreneurs.com, as well as YouTube. Our guest today is Gabe Rovick. Gabe is a co-owner and director at F4D Studio, also known as Focus for Design, a boutique production house located in Denver, Colorado, specializing in all facets of capturing and producing the highest-end HD cinema for video and photography in film, TV, digital, and commercial outlets. Gabe, welcome to the show.
Hey Justin, thanks for having me.
Let's get right into it and talk a little bit about your beginnings in business. Tell me about your first entrepreneurial experience and what impression that left on you.
Everybody's got the story of, selling lemonade or something like that. I think I used to sell baseball and sports memorabilia on my bike in like a trailer, but I don't know, I guess I got some funny stories. I used to go to Chicago every year for Thanksgiving, and we'd have a big family gathering or whatnot. And my cousin and I used to go run around Chicago, and we never wanted to walk anywhere, so we'd try to take cabs. We'd always be hustling our family members for cab fare, $20 here and there. But we'd go to like the Water Tower Mall and dip into they had like flick your quarter in, make a wish, like on the escalator, and we'd dip in. People would be throwing like quarters and silver dollars in there, so I'd come up with a couple bucks to travel around in the cab. I don't know if that's like an entrepreneur experience, but
It's the beginning of the
hustling. So that was kind of fun. I don't know, really I always had some sort of small job or something like that, whether it was working for my dad. Basically since I was about like 12 years old, I don't know, I would go to work with my dad and peel logs. My dad built log homes.
So entrepreneurship runs in the family?
Yep, definitely. So, my dad was always doing something. He had a log home business, but before then he was doing, he sold firewood or all sorts of different things. Like I would hang out on the firewood pile with my dad while he's selling firewood, things like that when I was younger. So it was definitely something that I kind of grew up around, to ways to make money.
Cool. Tell me a little bit about what Focus for Design is and how it got started.
We are a media company, mostly specialized in photography and video production, whether it's for marketing, advertising videos, small documentaries. We do a lot of stuff with philanthropy, like foundations and nonprofits. Basically it got started, a friend of mine and I we were into photography. I always did photography. I went to school for photography. I worked in Los Angeles for a celebrity photographer named David LaChapelle. And at one point I came back from Los Angeles and was always trying to get photography jobs. I'd done stuff for the Westward newspaper, and then I met a friend, and he was kind of good at graphic design and making websites, so we kind of developed like a media company and had multiple services that we could offer, and it just kind of grew from there. But it took a little while, but we were started getting jobs with just small companies around town, and kept it up, just kept going after clients and kept offering the services that we were good at.
I've met a lot of photographers who are hobbyists and do a lot of cool stuff, and I've always kind of dreamed of being kind of where you are, of having a business, being able to do this full time and make a living. Do you remember the tipping point where you were doing photography, was working with the photographer in LA, and then you decided, I'm going to build this into a business and make this really happen? Was there like a point or a decision in your life?
Well, working in LA for David that was like an incredible thing to see, because that was someone that had really made it. And, he's one of the highest paid photographers in the world. It was inspiring because it's like, man, how cool would this be if my business was this cool? And everybody that works there wants to be in some sort of part of the business, whether they're on the art team, or they're a producer, they're an assistant. Everybody wants to be in some field of media that worked at the office. So you had a lot of people around you that were all kind of aiming for some sort of goal in that business. But when I came back to Colorado, I just really wanted to do photography and by myself. At that time, I hadn't done really any video production. I was just a photographer, and so it's hard to be an independent photographer. You really got to leverage your resources and find people. I think the biggest thing was I just didn't have any money, and I just wanted to make money at photography so bad. I didn't want to do anything else. Eventually I had to get like a job at a restaurant, but throughout the whole time I worked at the restaurant, I had like started this business, and I was not gonna be a waiter forever. That was not an option. I just wanted to do photography, so it was kind of just, I was determined to do it. And at some point, go to work at the restaurant at night, but every day I would just focus on trying to get business and do whatever I could. And at one point I just kind of realized, oh man, I have a lot of clients. It didn't happen overnight, but they just kind of kept accumulating, and eventually I was able to make enough money where I didn't have to work at the restaurant anymore.
So you would say it was more determination that you wanted to do it, and just making it happen, whatever it took.
Yeah, I think ultimately that was it. It's like I just kept doing it, even though there were times that it's like, man, how am I gonna get extra money and do it? I wanted to get paid to do photography, and I think I used to have this thing at the restaurant where I was like, it's not worth going to work unless I make $100. Like $100 a day was like a good goal. So if I ever got a photography job that was like over $100, I'd call in and get someone to cover for me at the restaurant, because I was doing what I wanted to do and I was hitting my goal or whatnot.
So just replace that income slowly by.
Yeah. So it was I was just determined to do it, and that really, keeping that focus, even though like some days where I wasn't getting business and some days I was, I just kept up with it, and it paid off.
And so now it seems like the business is doing well. We're sitting in your photography studio that looks like it also doubles as a yoga studio. You got a team of guys up there on computers in the front. How has the business grown? How are you getting business? What's your marketing strategy? What's making you successful now?
Business has grown a lot. This space we're actually in right now didn't have any of these walls, and it was just
I remember it was just an old warehouse.
Open warehouse.
Rhino District in Denver.
And I rented this with my original business partner, and he actually ended up going off and doing some other things. He lives in San Francisco now and works in Silicon Valley, so once he left, it was just me. So I was in this 2,000 square foot warehouse by myself, just like sitting on one little computer trying to figure out how I was going to pay for the space. And then pretty shortly after, I was only in here for like a couple months by myself until my business partner now, Travis Conklin, he came back, and we had worked together in LA. So he was there for just a couple years longer than I was. And eventually he came back to Colorado. The day he came back, we had a job, and he moved all his gear into the studio, and it started kind of filling up. So I can't even remember how long ago that was, but several years ago. And since then, we've just slowly built up this space we're in here now. Yeah, it's like a shooting space, but we also do videos for a website called yogadownload.com. So it's an online yoga website. So this room we're in right now is the Yoga Download backdrop. You saw earlier I had like the logo projected on the wall. And
yeah.
The yogis do yoga right here, and it's filmed every class. We do about 15 to 20 classes a week, and
wow.
Then they get edited right over in the other room. And these guys over here are working on all sorts of different projects, whether it's stuff for ski companies, Icelandic skis. We got a lot of work with Children's Hospital. We work with their foundation and help create videos to help raise money to build the hospital. Colorado Outward Bound School, we just went to their gala last night and had some videos playing there, which was cool. Different branding videos. We have a project coming up here shortly with Skull Candy. So, from large, big name corporations to smaller brands, and we help smaller brands build their brand, and it's grown a ton since I started. I had one camera, now we've got 10. So
that's expensive equipment.
Yeah. The equipment, most of this money just goes back into buying cool gear, and you learn that toys are fun, and you got to balance out when you want to buy a toy or pay yourself.
And it seems like in the video and photography business, there's a lot of cool new toys coming out. One thing I wanted to ask about is drones, because it seems to me from following on Facebook and seeing some of the projects is that you've become one of the premier people in Colorado doing drone work. How did you get into that, and how has that evolved? I know there's a lot of legal stuff around drones and commercialism and photography.
Yeah, aerial photography and video has become huge in the business we're in. Because of technology and the growth of technology, it's so much more accessible to get you can get a small drone for $400. You can go get one at Walmart, I think, and take your own pictures if you wanted to.
And how much do you use the octocopter, right?
Yeah, we have an octocopter. Those range from, you want to get the whole kit and caboodle, so it can cost between $10,000 and $40,000,
wow,
depending on what type of equipment you're going to put on it. But that's everything said and done. Cameras, the whole works. Ours is a pretty high-end octocopter. So, but I have a couple small drones, and the big octocopters are main use. But yeah, I've learned so much. I never thought I would be doing that when I started at photography school when I was 18 years old. But now I am, and I've had to jump through tons of different obstacles for that because of legalities. The FAA has not fully created laws, but they're working really hard in order to make the sky safe for everybody to be operating these, because we are sharing it with commercial aircraft and other sport aircraft. So some of the things I've had to do was filed for an FAA exemption. It's called a 333 exemption. Basically, that will allow me to use the aircraft for commercial purposes under their restrictions, just so I'm obeying the laws, and they want the pilots to understand airspace and how everything works. And in doing that, one of the requirements is that the pilot in control has to have a sports pilot's license or higher. So I went out and got training, and I got my sports pilot's license about a week ago.
How long did that take?
It took about a month and a half of pretty hard work. I got certified to fly a powered parachute, which is kind of like a go-kart with a parachute attached to it. Really cool. You go about 35 miles an hour in the air, and it doesn't seem fast in the air, but when you're landing, definitely realize how much, once you start getting lower to the ground, you realize how much speed you got. And it's intense. You got to do a written test, you got to do a verbal test, and a check ride, which it's different. It's a three-dimensional spatial test, which is something I hadn't done, and I hadn't really taken a written or test in a long time since I've been in school. So it was really fun. But yeah, you gotta get up super early in the morning a lot, because you can really only fly at sunrise and sunset. Around those times, because that's when the winds are calm. So yeah, I never thought I would be doing that, but it was a blessing. I got to do something that everybody wants to do when they're a kid, is be a pilot. So I got to check that off my list.
You're forced to through work. So
yeah,
not too bad.
Yeah, no, and I think it would have taken me longer, but I was really determined to do it, and once I started really enjoying it, and so now I'm want to be this hobbyist airplane pilot. I'm all into aviation now, and the rules are cool to me, and I want to experiment with some other airplanes and try to get some more airworthiness under my belt, but I'll take my time on that. So yeah, it could take you several months, it could take you a year to get that same license. It just really depends on what pace you're gonna go at, and there's a lot of different factors. I'm lucky that there's like an examiner for powered parachutes that happens to live in Colorado. Some people that live in other states would probably have to get their pilot's training, and then they would have to pay an examiner from a different state to fly out, or they would have to fly out to get their check ride done. So I'm lucky that one of the like 8 in the country happens to live in Colorado.
Only 8? Huh.
Yeah.
So what are the rules on drones? You're always seeing real estate companies having drone photography, and I have a buddy in San Francisco that does weed delivery by drone, and I have a feeling there's some kind of gray legal, not enforced, but what are the actual rules that you're having to abide by drones?
Yeah, I don't want to say this wrong, so I'm a little nervous about that.
This is not legal advice for anyone.
That question. There's a lot of different interpretations of the law, but there are legal actions, and I guess what I'm doing is the best description. Without a 333 exemption, you can't fly your drone commercially.
I'm assuming most people don't have that.
Yep, there's about 2,000 people in the United States that have that, and they're predicting by Christmas 1 million people will own a RC helicopter or UAV. They don't really like to call them drones in my business. It's because it's a UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle. There's websites you can look at. There's a website called Know Before You Fly that kind of gives you the brief rundown, but basically you can't fly within 5 miles of an airport unless you notify them. You're supposed to stay under 400 feet. You're supposed to keep a visual line of sight. So with the 333 exemption, everybody's is a little bit different. So they'll
give you a specific purpose.
They'll give you a purpose of what you can use it for. Some people have it for like just movie sets and closed set filming. Mine is more for content collection, aerial mapping, and photography and video, like you'd say like commercial or used for marketing purposes. Yeah, so I'll have restrictions and rules that I have to abide by, and you're supposed to file a flight plan. If I were to want to fly over a congested area or say like a concert or something, I would have to get a COA, which takes minimum 60 days. It's not guaranteed. It would
COA?
Yeah, a certificate of airworthiness, or a certificate. Don't quote me on this because I might be saying it wrong. But basically, I would apply for a COA to the FAA, and then they would say, yes, you're authorized to fly in this area at this time for this purpose. And even though I have I would have a 333 exemption and I'm a pilot, I would still need to go through these steps in order to properly, legally do my job. So there's a lot and it's such a new industry, so every day it's changing. They just made an announcement yesterday or the other day that everybody that has a UAV has to register their aircraft. And that's just one way they can kind of regulate it. So if you blow your aircraft into a car or somebody's building and run away, they'll know that aircraft is registered to you. So which I think is a good thing. A lot of people are not too happy about it, but I haven't read enough to really know exactly it's constantly changing. So you got to really be up on it. And I'm on all sorts of weird little blogs and Facebook pages that people talk about it and bicker about, but most of it's just bickering. So
did you expect to have this much paperwork and regulation around your business of media and photography?
Oh no, not at all. I mean, just because of what I do, I've recently got some bigger aviation lawyers that I'm working with, and corporate lawyers, and I want to cover myself and make sure I'm doing everything legally, because I feel like that's really important if you want to continue to grow your business, you want to be top of your game, you got to do everything the right way. So that's I'm like, I've got aviation insurance, I've got aviation lawyers.
Wow.
I've got a pilot's license. I've filed for a 333 exemption. I mean, it's just never ending.
Yeah, I never would have realized how intricate that was.
Yeah.
Without hearing all this, because you just kind of think, oh, he's got a nice drone, and you just learn how to fly it. Maybe that takes a couple days, pop it up, and go. But yeah, not as easy when you're dealing with commercial and FAA.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, when I first started, I was like, sweet, this is the coolest thing ever, man. Like, I can fly this and I can take pictures and get sweet video shots. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting in meetings with lawyers and I'm like, hey, am I allowed to do this? Should I be doing this? What should I do? What paperwork should I fill out?
Takes a little bit of the fun out of it.
Yeah, but to me, it's, obviously the fun is playing with the big boy toys, but I think it's fun to learn. I mean, that's what one of the best parts about having this business is I'm constantly learning, and I constantly get to see into other industries. So it's fun to me.
Yeah, so let's move down that avenue. Being a business owner has provided fun, you've gotten to learn a lot of things you never expected to do, versus staying in the restaurant industry or working some sort of 9 to 5. What freedom has being an entrepreneur given you? I'm assuming from the amount of stuff you do, you work quite a bit, so it's not like you just come into the office once a day, check everything, and go out and relax, right?
Right. You're supposed to, when you own your own business, you're supposed to be able to go or do a vacation or take off whenever you want, which technically you can because you're the business owner, but that doesn't really happen when you have a busy business. I mean, in our business, the film and photography world, I mean, you're outside a lot. You're in different places all the time because you got to go to different locations to get the pretty shots and things like that. So depending on what you do, it allows for a lot of freedom. For example, we just did a project in Bermuda. So we were in Bermuda. I got to stay on an island, travel around on boats, and take pictures of cliff divers and snorkeling and stand-up paddleboarding. So that's freedom to me.
You've done a lot of ski shoots.
I've done a lot of ski shoots. To me, it's really cool because I do work with a bunch of different industries, whether it's, the ski company or the yoga world, even the hospital. So I get to go inside these places and really learn about their business and what they're doing. Recently we're making a video to raise money for cancer research. So I got to go into a lab where they're trying to cure cancer, and I get to see that up close and personal, and doing macro shots of petri dishes, and interviewing doctors about their passion in trying to cure cancer for children, which is really special. And then again, I use Icelandic as an example because we've been doing a lot of work with them because it's almost ski season. But I got to go into their factory and watch them build their skis and creating apparel. We've gone to Chicago where they make their t-shirts and film them actually sewing the patches on the t-shirts. So I've been in factories, on the ski slopes, and watched going from start to finish with a product, and then maybe I'll see a doctor cure cancer. So it does give me a lot of freedom to be able to see all this stuff going on, and it's inspiring every day because not only am I trying to build my business, but I'm watching other people pursue their passions as well.
Yeah, so you're getting to see people at the top of their field, the ones that want to show what they're doing to the world. You're that lens that they show it, and so they've got to first explain it to you so that you can effectively do that. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's pretty cool. What about mistakes? Have you made any mistakes along the way that you say you can think, oh, now I know that was totally the wrong way to go?
I think it happens all the time. I mean,
day.
Yeah, every time I'm doing something, I'm like, oh, well, shoot, I'm not going to do that again. From small things to big things. I think when I really first started, I'm just trying to get work. So, you just take whatever job you want or whatever pays and do it.
Can't be too discerning when you're just getting your name out there.
But I think it is really important to do stuff that you want to do, because that's what ultimately you're doing your job. If you started your business, it's because it's something you love, and so you should do stuff that inspires you and that you really care about. I think I would focus more on the things that I loved and try to take photographs and pictures of that as much as possible. Even when I started, like, I would have just picked a different niche. I mean, now I'm kind of able to pick and choose a little bit more, but you know, when you're starting, it's like, oh man, I feel like that can kind of turn you off really fast, because it can turn your like passion in, you know, it's like, when does your job become a job? So
it hasn't for you?
I mean, no, I don't think so. I mean, it is work, but I don't consider it like, oh man, I don't want to go to work today. Like, it's kind of exciting, and the more successful I get and the more fun projects, I'm like, man, I want to get another job like that. Like, I want to go to Bermuda again. I want to go to Alaska. So it's kind of like every day I wake up and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go find a job where I can go to some sweet place and fly in a helicopter or something like that. So it's inspiring. I mean, that's not getting to go in a helicopter, hang out on boats. It's not much work to me. That's what I try to do on vacation. So
yeah, exactly. It's you've things that people pay big money for, you're getting paid to do.
I got like this thing at this networking event. They were passing out this folder or these like little notepads, and on the front of the notepad it says, "Your job should be as cool as your friends think it is." I've been using that notepad because I thought it was really cool, and I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. It's like a bumper sticker for me.
As a longtime friend of yours, Gabe and I actually grew up together in the mountains of Colorado. I've always been very jealous of everything he's doing, because he's always posting the cool projects and the drone shots and hanging out with professional snowboarders. And for those of us that are sitting in office, it's like, maybe I chose the wrong career path there, but
I don't know. You live in some pretty cool places.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go on vacation, Justin seems to live.
Yeah. Try to do it myself, but you said your first partner took another opportunity, and now you're working with Travis Conklin. What's it like being a partnership? Is that, you know, obviously there's being a sole proprietor allows you to make all the decisions, you know, having to relinquish control and also have that input. You know, how do you find that balance, and how do you make that work effectively?
I think it's nice having a partnership. You know, not everybody wants to like share
It's
power.
especially harder in an artistic type of form,
Right.
because when you have a vision, you want to see things done a certain way.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is, you know, communication. And Travis and I have a really good working relationship in communication, so we both kind of understand what the big picture goal is. We both have similar values in life, and so I think that really helps out. But I enjoy being able to bounce ideas off somebody. And, you know, you never know if like your idea is good or bad, or it's the best thing for everybody else at the company. You know, one of our biggest things is, you know, we're here to like make sure that the people that work alongside with us, the other cinematographers and the editors that work at F4D, they're happy too, and they're getting paid, and they're doing the fun stuff as well. Like, we're trying to get jobs so we can all go out and play, not just the boss. Travis, it's fun to work with a team. You know, I consider everybody that works here part of a partner with me, because they're all creative and they're all smart and they all have good ideas and they all have good connections, and they all want to do the same thing I want to do, and really it's just create stuff and like feel good about it. So at an end product, when we've all worked on something together, we're all super happy, and we always bounce ideas off each other, whether it's, you know, a small project or a little one. But it's fun when you get 5 people sitting there trying to figure out how to take a picture of a pair of skis.
And the guys that have joined your team, how do you find your partners, your employees? Are they are you putting up help wanted ads in the newspaper?
Yeah, so everybody kind of comes in different ways, whether, you know, they just like showed up one day and just never left, or for example, Tyler, he's worked here the longest of everybody. I found him on Facebook. I was like looking for a photographer for like an event, and I said, hey, we're looking, or we you know, we wanted more photographers on the team, and I posted a thing on Facebook looking for photographers, and some guy just tagged him in the post, and he went and took a picture at some event, and then he's been here ever since. And I think it's been about like 4 years now.
Wow.
Everybody's come, some is just, hey, I know a guy that does what you do. He's looking for work. Can I give him your contact information? I think that's how Eric got here. He came from like Aspen and just kind of moved to town and was looking for more work, and he came and worked on a project, and he's never left.
Once they arrive, they don't leave.
Yeah, so I mean, we've had people in and out, but everybody that's kind of worked here, we're still in contact with. This girl Chandler, when she graduated photography school, she came and worked with us, and she's awesome. And now she's got her own thing going on, and she's an awesome wedding photographer and lifestyle photographer. She does she's just so good at it. She just had to do it on her own,
Cool.
She has her niche, so it's fun to see people come from our office and are successful outside of our office as well.
When you're talking about Travis, you said you're aligned on the goal for the company. What is your goal for Focus Design? Where are you trying to go with this?
I guess ultimately, we're trying to build a business that encompasses what we want to do as far as our lifestyle goes. So we want to be healthy, outdoor, involved in the community, but we also want to create amazing artwork make commercial artwork in as creative a way as possible and tell stories that inspire people. So I know that's like a wide range of things. Advertising is a big business. We come from like the advertising world, from working in Los Angeles on big commercial shoots. Like Travis and I have worked on Sky Vodka campaigns and Sky Vodka big fashion shoots. We've worked with big celebrities. Travis has been in a couple music videos. He was in an Amy Winehouse video. I don't know if you'd like if I told you that, but you can check him out.
Is he a dancer?
He's in the background. He's like topless walking behind Amy Winehouse with his girlfriend down Hollywood Boulevard in Venice. It's pretty cool. That stuff's so much fun to figure out how to create a brand, but I'd like to help brands that are smaller build and become larger brands like Sky Vodka or something like that. These smaller ski companies, they have to compete with Rossignol and Solomon, and it's really
multi-million-dollar advertising budgets.
Difficult. Yeah, so we'd like to be able to create these like awesome videos that are just as good as them for a little bit smaller budgets to help out the smaller guys. And then we love working on these philanthropy projects with Children's Hospital and Colorado Outward Bound School, and we've done stuff for Boys and Girls Club. We work with Janus Capital, and they do some fundraising stuff, and so we've created stuff for like the Rock and Roll Marathon, and I got a list of them all, but
yeah, over the years, hard to keep track of.
Yeah, lots of these foundations though do some really cool stuff, and we're able to get in the lives of people and like tell amazing stories about surviving cancer. Or we do an event that is a fundraising event called the Kentucky Derby, and they give away a full ride scholarship to underprivileged kids every year. And we get to meet the kids and tell their story, and it's really heartwarming. And so being able to bring positive light through our work, there's a lot of like people that don't get a chance to do that still do photography and video, but they're trapped in the marketing world, and it does overlap. I heard this guy Tommy Caldwell that did the Don Wall recently. He spoke at this gala last night, and there's a film crew that did a whole story about his experience. That was really cool. And to tell inspiring stories is one of our objectives.
Cool. Making the world a better place, living the life that you want to lead, and telling other people's stories.
For sure.
It's not the typical make a bunch of money.
Yeah, that's always there.
Want to have that happen, but
yeah, hopefully that just comes as a perk.
Most people that successfully do that say it was a side product.
Yeah.
They didn't focus. Steve Jobs being one of the biggest ones of we just were computer nerds. We loved computers and thought that the world would revolutionize the world, and then the money came after.
Yeah, and it definitely did, right? I got a lot of Macintosh computers.
Yeah, I bet. I want to ask you one more question and then be respectful of your time. I'll move into the lightning round, which will basically be you can answer one word, one sentence, and expand on it if you want to, but don't feel obligated.
All right.
So before we get to the lightning round, you have a front row seat into media design, photography, video, UAVs, some pretty cool stuff, the entire advertising industry. What insight can you give us as to where it's going? Is there trends or new technology that's coming out? Or
Well, I think virtual reality is going to be really big.
I can't even imagine how that's all going to work.
I haven't even delved into it, but it's popping up everywhere, and some of the big players in the business, some of these big action sports videographers, like Brain Farm and Sherpa's Cinema, they're getting big into the virtual reality.
That's going to be so cool.
So, yeah, I mean, I even see it in marketing. I was at a bar or something in San Diego, and there was like a Bacardi promo going on, and you put these virtual reality goggles on, and you were in another world. Like I was at a concert on a boat, and but I was really just standing in a bar. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I think that's gonna be. I don't know how it's gonna happen. It seems to be happening fast, but virtual reality is probably one thing to look out for.
Yeah, that combination of tech and art.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes the sky the limit, and your imagination can design things that other people can't even dream of.
But yeah, I mean, with the way technology is going, I just it's really hard to say. The camera, and just from camera, there's a new camera that's better than the old camera that comes out every single day, and it's like they're better and cheaper, and it's more affordable for everybody. So some of these people that might be creative that can never afford a $70,000 camera can go buy one for $500 and create something that looks about as good,
Is there a make and model that you'd recommend for someone that's looking to spend under $1,000 and expose their photography side?
Sony makes some pretty cool smaller cameras that are reasonable priced. I mean, I have Sony cameras.
You're no longer going after the reasonable price ones, right?
Not really. I mean, sometimes reasonable price for what I want to do is kind of what I go for.
Max, what you can afford for what the project will support.
GoPro. If you want a cheap camera, I mean the new iPhone is pretty reasonable price for
it's 4K.
They've got 4K camera. I just watched this video and I was blown away.
Yeah.
So
keeps getting easier to fit that into your pocket.
Some of my cameras don't even do 4K. So get the iPhone.
All right, so let's go to the lightning round. First question: can you share a tool, shortcut, or hack that's helped you succeed?
Computer.
Yeah, your life wouldn't work without a computer.
Yeah, or my phone. I spend a lot of time on my phone. It's good to be connected, I think. So I guess that could be like a hack too. Like I try to stay connected to friends and people all over the world.
Cool. Is there an influential book that you've read that you maybe give out as a gift, or?
I just read The Virgin Way. It was pretty influential. Or On the Road by Jack Kerouac. It's like my go-to. I've read that like 5 times.
What about an influential role model? Who do you look up to?
Oh no, my parents. I ask them for a lot of advice. Even if they don't know the answer, I still try to get something out of them.
If you could change one thing about the world, what would it be?
People go outside more.
More exploring.
More exploration.
Thanks again, Gabe. For anyone listening that wants to contact you or get in touch with Focus Design, what kind of clients are you looking for, and how can they get in touch with you?
Well, if you have a story to tell or a sweet new product or brand that you want to have the world know about, let us know. You can check out our website at www.f4dstudio.com. That's where to find everything.
You're on Facebook as well?
Yep, Facebook, Instagram. We got Google+.
Does anybody use that?
People do. I mean, it's really big if you want to get into like search engine optimization. If you really want to get up there on you should use Google Plus, because that's who's
I've heard that before.
tracking the bots. I try to use it. It's hard. I mean, there's so many things out there.
Yeah.
Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah. Thanks again, Gabe.
Thank you, Justin. That was fun.